We are gathered here today to mourn the death of Milton Friedman. Milton was the best man I ever knew. This man right here. To you, he may be the father of modern economic theory. But to me, he was much more than that. He was a friend. And so, my friends, allow me to tell you of his life, a life of suspense and romance, intrigue and inspiration, the life of the greatest economist who ever lived, the life of Milton Friedman. Milton Friedman was born in 1912, the youngest child of Jewish immigrants in New York City.
It's a boy!
He's beautiful, and his name will be Milton.
As a child, Milton was interested in mathematics, but times were tough.
This is gross. I don't want this.
You have to eat it. It's the 1930s, and we don't have money to buy real food.
The Depression deeply impacted Milton Friedman, and after earning a bachelor's in mathematics from Rutgers University, he resolved to become an economist, entering the master's program at the University of Chicago. For the next 30 years, UChicago became Milton's home. Milton met the love of his life, Rosa Director, in Economics 101 class, where they were seated next to each other.
Does your name start with F?
Yeah, what's it to you?
We're supposed to sit alphabetically. Mine starts with D.
Oh, I'm Milton Friedman.
Well, I'm Rose Director.
Nice to meet you, Rose.
Okay, class. Today we're going to learn about John Maynard Keynes. He was an awesome guy who invented Keynesian economics, the school of thought that focuses on government spending to control the economy.
Wow, his mustache looks dumb.
John Maynard Keynes' mustache was not dumb. He was one of the most impactful economists of the 20th century, and his theories about government spending form the core of most economic policy today.
Milton, ever the rebel, had a different take on things. He was known for questioning and challenging authority.
So Keynes believed that when the economy is down, the government should spend money to create jobs and stimulate demand.
But won't constant government intervention mess up the market? Why not let the market fix itself and control the money supply instead?
Well, Keynes thought the risks of government spending were worth it for the greater good of helping people.
But how do we define the greater good that justifies government intervention? Who decides what actions are necessary for this greater good? Can we truly manage the economy through government intervention, or are we merely imposing our limited will upon a complex system?
Enough with the questions, just let me go through the curriculum, please.
Milton persistently critiqued Keynesian economics, the dominant theory at the time, and started developing a thesis against it. He was a brash student, constantly challenging his teachers. Indeed, some would describe him as the bad boy of the Chicago School of Economics. But don't let that fool you. Milton was really a very studious guy. Hey, Milton!
Come have a drink with us.
No, you guys, I have to study.
God, Milton, you're such a bummer.
Who are you?
I'm John Maynard Keynes. You've disrespected me, my economic theory, and my mustache. And now, you must pay.
Keynes, the poster boy of government intervention. What an unexpected surprise. So you've come to defend your flawed theories in person? Government intervention is futile, Keynes. The market should be free to regulate itself.
And yet, without government intervention via fiscal policy, economies would fall into ruin. Look at the 1930s, Friedman. Government intervention saved us from economic collapse.
Fiscal policy is a short-term fix that leads to inflation and inefficiency. Monetary policy, on the other hand, focuses on controlling the money supply to sustainably grow the economy.
Economies require immediate action, not your theoretical long-term solutions.
Immediate action that in the 1970s led to prolonged stagflation, which is a combination of high inflation and high unemployment.
Our faith in the free market is misplaced, Friedman. Markets fail, and when they do, the government must step in.
Markets self-correct. Your interventions only distort natural economic adjustments. Now let me show you the truth. Wow.
A Phillips curve.
Yes, this is the Phillips curve, which shows the trade-off between inflation and unemployment in the short run. Your policies push for the reduction of unemployment at the cost of higher inflation from government spending.
People need income, Friedman. That trade-off is necessary to address immediate economic challenges.
You're wrong. I'll call it the long run Phillips curve. It shows that in the long run there's no trade-off. As inflation increases, unemployment stays the same. The economy returns to its natural rate of unemployment regardless of inflation. So attempting to control it, attempting to control unemployment through government intervention just fuels inflation.
People can't wait for your so-called natural adjustments. They need jobs and support now.
Your theories are short-sighted, Keynes. Monetary policy is the only way.
My mustache!
It's over, Keynes. In the long run, we're all dead.
Hey, Milton. You okay?
I think I just came up with my thesis.
With permission.
Do you want me to pause it or should I keep going?
No, you can.
Oh, I can keep going?
This is part of the purpose.
Okay. Time for some trivia because
So go next.
that's a good. Alright, so question 1. What type of government action does monetarism advocate for? Is it A, not like, okay. Is it A, government spending to control inflation? B,
It's that
control
one.
over the money supply?
Yeah.
C, high levels of taxation to regulate the economy? Or D, regulation of labor markets to manage employment levels?
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand, any guesses?
Call out your answer.
B.
After you've raised your hand.
B,
Okay,
B.
B for both.
B is correct, I think. Yes.
Can I throw the raise your hand answer for number 2, please?
All
I know the
right.
answer.
Okay. Question number 2.
B.
Stop ruining it.
Who is
the 6 minutes left.
who is credited with the creation of the long run filter? Philip. Friedman. Next question.
Ah, bummer.
What is stagflation?
A.
Bad stuff. Inflation.
C.
High unemployment.
Wait, no, A.
Yep.
All right. Was Milton a homophobe? Infamous conservative economist.
No.
No, he was not.
Yeah,
He was
very
so
surprising.
libertarian that he was like, you guys can just do drugs and have sex with people. It doesn't matter.
And he doesn't have a party.
He doesn't know, but
He was protected.
yeah, he was not homophobic. Which is a surprise. All
Okay,
right.
okay.
All
The
right.
intermission is over.
After establishing monetarism with his book Studies on the Quantity Theory of Money and starting to take Keynes on with his work A Theory of the Consumption Function, Milton went for a death blow, co-authoring the monumental monetary history of the United States, empirically crushing the Keynesian model with page after page of data. By the 1970s, Keynesian economics was dead, and the age of monetarism was at hand, and Milton was its herald. The shift from academic to public intellectual was dizzying. Now everyone wanted a piece of him. Ring, 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 ring.
Hello, Richard Nixon. Oh, I would love to advise you.
Milton served as unofficial advisor to two presidents, Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan, shaping economic policy in the U.S., particularly during the Reagan administration. His advocacy for free markets and limited government intervention laid the groundwork for what became known as Reaganomics. We got to do this fast. However, his influence extended far beyond the borders of the United States. Ring, 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 ring.
Hello, Chilean dictator Augustus Pinochet. I would be honored to advise you.
In a problematic turn of events, he did indeed advise Chilean dictator Augustus Pinochet on 1975 on the economic state of Chile, which was then in a great recession. He recommended Pinochet implement a shock treatment of drastic cuts in public spending and social investment, which caused GDP to fall by 14% while unemployment rose to 23.7% and economic inequality vastly increased.
Oh, come on.
Nailed it.
Nevertheless, he was an icon. In 1976, Milton received the Nobel Peace Prize in economics for his achievements in monetary history and theory.
This year's Nobel Peace Prize goes to Milton Friedman.
Speech, 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 speech.
To intervene or not to intervene, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the inefficiencies of centrally planned economies, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them, to regulate and by regulation to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that markets are heir to, 'tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To regulate, to command, perchance to control, aye, there is the rub. For that in command of control, what risks may come.
Actually, this isn't necessary.
For who would bear the whips and scorns of misallocation, the oppressor's wrong, the pangs of despised inflation, fiscal policy's delay, the insolence of bureaucracy, and the spurns that patient merit the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make in a free market. Thus conscience doth make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sickly to arm with the pale cast of regulation, and the great currents of the market with this regard turn awry, and lose the name of action. But soft what light through yonder window breaks? It is the dawn of liberty, the recognition that in the end it is the freedom of markets that leads to the peace and prosperity of great nations. Thank you.
Milton continued his work up until his death of heart failure at the age of 94. Death of heart failure at the age of 94. It is difficult to summarize Milton's life in one eulogy, but these are the events of his life that made him the man he was, the man who's listed as the second most popular economist of all time behind John Maynard Keynes. He was a man of principle, a man of conviction. And did we mention he was 5 feet tall? We couldn't really find anywhere to put that in the script, but it was important for you to know anyways.
That's me.
Although the falling Chicago snow may erase the name on his gravestone, it will never erase his impact on the American economic policy. Fly high, Milton Friedman. Fly high.
Okay, so